On today's show, even though he's a surf dude with a bit of an attitude, we're going to let him on anyway. Please welcome from the hit series California Dreams, actor-musician Brentley Gore.
Yay! What's up? Yeah, Brentley Gore here. Glad to be here. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Let's get it going.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mike Rand Show, and today's special guest is from the hit sitcom California Dreams. He played Matt Garrison. He's also an actor and musician. Please welcome Brentley Gore. Hey Brentley, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Really glad to be here on your show.
Now we have a big announcement that we're going to say in this show right now in a second. I just want to first start off by saying that although California Dreams falls under the network code and is not considered struck work due to the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike, at the moment we're not going to be discussing any specifics about the show on this broadcast.
Fair enough. Great.
But what we will discuss is the band is back together, Matt. Or Brentley, I already screwed up. I just called you your character. That's okay.
That's okay.
Whatever.
People do it all the time.
Whatever. I do that. You know, I have wrestlers on this show. I never even call them their real names. We go by we know what we're talking about here. But the band is back together, and it's going to happen Friday, October 13th in New York City at the Stitch Bar and Blues. Now, tickets are still available at prekindle.com. Very easy. Go to their website. You just do a search, type in California Dreams, and you can pick up your tickets.
Yep. And they're going fast already. We're getting close. Selling out.
Everybody go there, do that. Now, my first question for you is how did, oh, by the way, we want to make sure in case it's not noticeable, I am wearing my California Dreams shirt here. And I want to ask you, how did this reunion come to be?
It's a big question, but it's easy answer. Really, you know, a lot of the cast members were talking about doing another show. I'm gonna say I wasn't part of the show in LA because I just couldn't be there that weekend. We did one prior, and then people still listen to the music all the time. So it's like that's where my heart is, you know, like I'm a musician. I love it. That's the whole deal with me. It was the acting and the music combined really made it special. And people just kept asking, are you going to do any more shows? Well, finally, Jenny Kwan, who has teamed up with Kelly Packard, those girls have been doing some one-off shows and doing some Comic-Cons and things like that. They said, let's just go for it. Let's do one in New York. Are you interested? And I said, you know what? I can do that. I would love to do that. Let's do it. Let's go all out. We'll get I'm relearning all of the songs, all of the music. We're all doing it. And then sure enough, everyone just joined in. You know, everyone who's been in California Dreams as an original cast member, series member, is actually going to be part of the band, the California Dreams band.
Yeah, and that's huge. This is the first time that everyone has been put together in the same room, so it's going to be epic. And now it's going to be a great day. So you're going to have meet and greets, so the fans can come take pictures with you, get autographs, stuff like that. Then you guys are also going to do a panel, and then at night it's going to be the big reunion concert, which is going to be awesome. So now you did have one little reunion. It didn't have the whole cast there, but most of the cast, and it took place on the Jimmy Fallon show back in the day. Which
totally.
was awesome.
Look.
Like,
Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. We did that. It was a blast.
That was awesome. So tell us what it was like going on that show.
That was so much fun. I mean, just getting to see everybody playing with the Roots. We play with the Roots. It was a Jimmy Fallon show. What a great honor and what a wonderful experience we had. Granted, yes, not everyone was on that. I think what they were doing was promoting the DVD release of the first two seasons. So that's kind of was the reason for that. But since then, time has passed, and I think we're going to be doing a lot more of those and kind of throwback to all of the seasons, because everyone was certainly part of the whole. It took everyone to make the whole series complete. You know what I mean?
Yes. And then hopefully, maybe you guys will make a little return trip to Jimmy Fallon. And I may put it out there that Jimmy may have to invite me that day, because I've said it before. I was in an MTV Video Music Awards commercial with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, really?
Back in the day in 2005.
Nice.
So I sat behind him on a fake airplane. So Jimmy Fallon, if you're watching this, I need you to go back and watch the footage, and you'll see a little bit of my head in the corner of the screen. That is me behind you in that.
That's hilarious.
So I think I should be part of the reunion. Even though you guys, I should kind of be there. I should reunite with Jimmy. It's been a while too, so.
Hey, exactly. Now you're part of the crew. So
yes.
He loves the theme song.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that means a lot. And so I told Jimmy, I was like, look, if you want to do it again, you're going to have to sing the theme song with me.
Yep. And now, prior to that reunion on the show, had you been in contact with everyone? Were you still all kind of in contact, or was that the first time in a very long time that you saw any of those cast members?
I had been in contact as much as I could have been. Some more than others. William James Jones was off getting his doctorate. I know those guys because they had spent 5 years together, were really close. I feel, I've said it before, those guys have my heart, I mean, that's like a really cherished time of my life. And I did stay in touch with almost, every one of them. I didn't see them as much as they saw each other, because I was just off and going after the 36 episodes I did. But I always checked in, and I had said prior, social media really helps with being able to just send a note and be like, this looks great. Congrats on your doctorate. Congrats on your babies, all of that. So it was really, I hadn't seen him a lot, just here and there. So it was really a nice reunion as far as being in person to person.
Yep. And was it like, just like, I know that there's some friends of mine that sometimes maybe whatever life happens that you don't see them, or if you're unable to stay in contact and then you see them years later, the first time you meet them, it's like picking up where nothing happened. Those are the best friendships.
It's like that. It's like that. And, especially Michael Cade and I mean, we still like duke it out in a good way, like in just a sibling way, and I'm like, that's cute, Mike, and he's like, shut up, we just, we have that camaraderie and we have that brotherly, affection. And I think that between he and I and the rest of the cast members, and the girls are like my sisters. Heidi, who played, my sister on the show, I've seen her probably the least, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her. She's just near and dear to my heart too, So yes, the answer is yes. We do pick up where we left off, and it's going to be really great seeing them in New York.
Yep. Now, another question I have to ask you is, just like how we said before, this is the first time everybody's been together.
Yeah.
Had you ever met Aaron and Diana, since you were not on their season? So this is the first time you're meeting the two of them.
Only on social media. And I haven't even spoken to Diana. So yes, it's going to be the first time seeing us being in the same room. So that's why it's a pretty monumental event for us as a California Dreams cast. It's like, wow, everybody's going to be there, you know?
Yeah. Now, what songs do you have a playlist that you're already thinking about doing? What songs are your favorite and that you think you're going to be performing that night?
Well, I can't talk about everything because we've made an agreement not to spill all the beans yet. But I can guarantee you the theme song will be sung.
That better be sung. I'm going to tell you there's going to be chaos if that is not sung.
I know.
And I think, you know what? I think I'm just going to throw it out there. I think it should be sung twice. Maybe you can do a little remix version of the theme song or a new version or something as the encore at the end.
That's a very good idea. We'll take that into consideration for sure. And unfortunately, I can't play all of the songs that were on the record. I mean, there'd be like 3 hours worth of material with so many songs that we've recorded. But definitely some of my favorites, I want to make sure that we get to, like Low Road and things like that.
And then there was a remake done recently by Preston D. Barnes for Castles in the Quicksand. And I want to know if you had heard that and what are your thoughts? It was a great remake.
I heard about that, but I didn't get that. Boy, let's talk about that. Was that released on his record or something?
So he came out with the single. So it was released. What year are we? I don't even know what day.
2023.
2023. So yeah. It was last year. It came out.
Okay.
Now I know Brentley watches this show religiously, so it was the one episode he did not see. That's okay, Brentley. But we did have him on here.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. So Brentley is gonna go watch the one episode he missed.
I will go see that and I'll check the song out because I kind of knew of it, but I didn't know if that was like I'll listen. If it was one of my songs that I sang, I would have definitely listened more. But it was a Heidi song.
It was a Heidi song.
And by the way, I love that song. That song is killer. And I've been learning that to play with the band at the show. So I'm really excited to play that song. Yeah,
and I guess it was remade, I guess, as well back in the day. I still haven't heard.
You mean during the show?
During the show. I don't know if it was after the show. Somebody said it was remade or something. I mean, I've only heard Preston, the newer remake version.
We'll go check that out.
We're going to be checking that out after this. This broadcast, guys. But like we said, it was a Heidi song, and you and Heidi were brother and sister on the show.
She's so great.
One question I gotta ask, which I'm sure many people have that are watching the show right now, is why did both you and Heidi leave the show? Because you were on there she left in the beginning of season 2, you left at the end of season 2. What happened there that you guys left?
I can't really speak to her because I don't know individually what the specific reason was, really specifically. So I'd probably best leave that up to her to answer. But for me, mine was, the music became a backseat to the show. When we first signed up for the show, MCA Records had a record deal with NBC. And then we were doing these tours and we made this really amazing record with Steve Tyrell and these guys, Barry Coughing, all these guys, with some of the best musicians in the world, session guys playing. And we were going to go on tour and promote that, but that kind of fell behind because MCA didn't want to pay for the touring. And NBC was like, we're not a record company, we're a TV show. We're a broadcast company. So that kind of took a back seat. And then they changed up the whole lineup, as we all know, because we had other shows that were there that were promoting different teens as a group. So it was less family oriented. And we couldn't come to an agreement on how that needed to continue. So we just kind of parted ways after the second season. In retrospect, I think, I was such a baby and young and kind of fired up and was running around with different people, Leonardo DiCaprio and people like that. And I was like, I could be doing other stuff. I'm going to be doing movies and making records, and so I kind of was just like, it's okay. I did my time with California Dreams and moved on. In retrospect, could have been, would have been best to maybe hang in there and stay there, but it didn't pan out that way, and that's okay. It worked out exactly as it needed to. So that's probably my best explanation, is like the music became less ideal and a less big part of it for the direction that I wanted it to go in.
Yep. And I mean, it worked out in the end the best for you, because you got to then go have a music career.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the music career, let's talk about a little bit about before the music career.
Okay.
So you did have a extensive background in education in performing arts schools and things like that, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about before, what you studied before you got cast into Dreams, like your background?
Yeah, for sure. So I left. I was young. I left home young, and I went to New York City, and I went to American Musical and Dramatic Academy. So it was a conservatory. I went there, studied musical theater, had acting, dancing, singing, and was learning this as a craft from some of the great people on the Upper West Side in Manhattan in this school. Left New York because I said, hey, I kind of wanted to split up I didn't want to just go right into musical theater. I wanted to split up music and acting. I went out to LA and then pretty quickly landed this show. And the rest was history. But here's the truth, and I've told this story. I'll keep it really brief. I've told this story before, but I had joined a band in Anchorage, Alaska, and I was working at the restaurant Roxbury as just like as a job. And I quit my job and I joined this band. I packed my car, I bought a plane ticket, and I got an audition for California Dreams, and basically got California Dreams, and I stayed in LA. I never went. So I had always had hopes on doing music and being in music, but I never thought that combining was so much my wheelhouse. So when California Dreams came along, I was able to do the music and the acting, and it just, I've said it before. I put the headphones on in the audition, and I sang an Elton John song on piano, your song actually. And I was like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And California Dreams was the perfect place to get started doing that. And so, I'm eternally grateful.
Yep. And then after California Dreams, you were in an off-Broadway musical called The Fantastics, and you won an Innovation Award. So can you tell us what that is and what that award meant to you?
Thank you. Yeah, it was actually in between the seasons, the first and second season. And Ken Page, who's a huge Broadway star for Cats many years, great director, still a huge component of Broadway and musical theater, asked if I would come and audition for the role of Matt in The Fantastics. Hardest job I've ever had, doing all these shows, had to be in shape vocally and physically. Came in, did a 100-seat arena in LA, did the LA version, and then they had the Ovation Awards, which are a very, pretty high bar award for the musical theater, and we won for the cast. And boy, I just went right back into musical theater, and it also solidified me combining acting and music, and that being really part of my deal, like something that's just natural and good for me. Because when I was in high school, that's where I started, was our spring musicals that we had in Nashville. I didn't play baseball. I did play football and did some sports, but I didn't play baseball. I had to do the spring musical because I loved it. And that's just me. And I got to go back and do that, the Fantastics, and amazing.
And then you also wrote and recorded your own material. So I want to know a little bit about that and what type of music are on these albums. Where can people get these albums?
So they're all on Spotify and iTunes and all of those places. And I've done everything from indie to avant-garde electronica to, at the end of the day, I'm a singer songwriter rock and roll guy. I love Tom Petty. I love all of those. I love songs and I love music. So I've made a bunch of different genre of music, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty Americana rock and roll.
Okay. And if you could name from your solo stuff, maybe 3 songs or about that you're most proud of, that are your favorites, which would they be?
Wow. They're, I know people say songs are your babies, and they're all important. Woo! Let me just say this, Mike. There's plenty of songs that I haven't put out yet that are my favorites. And because I have a lot of songs. I've written a ton of songs. My favorites that I've put out, oh my gosh. Let me just go with my last. Okay, the first record I put out had So Much Better and Dear God, which is a really heartfelt ballad. And then I was in a band called King Straggler that where I released some songs that I did with the band King Straggler with fellow actors John Hawkes and Rodney Eastman. And I released some songs on my solo record that I had done with them. Those are probably my favorite songs that I've ever put out. And the most recent one is the Stoke the Fire EP. It's a little more rock and roll. It's kind of like Low Road style. I'm a huge Bowie fan. I love glam rock and roll. I love it because I love the show. I want the show. I want everything to be the show. And so my last EP called Stoke the Fire has 4 or 5 songs, has 5 songs on it. And so those are the 2 I would say.
Okay. It's hard. That's just like somebody asking me who my favorite guest is. I can't answer that question. And I will not answer that question, people. So don't ever ask me.
Yeah, that's exactly
they're all
right.
my favorites, or they wouldn't have been here.
I mean, I got them out and I put them out because I loved them. And sometimes those change, and sometimes they get to be really famous, but they're still your songs. You know what I mean? And so at the time and when they were written, songs never get to be better than the moment they were written, because that moment that you created that baby, it's forever going to be yours. And so, yeah, that's the best way I can answer it. I'm in agreement with you there, Mike.
And it's a tricky question too, because it's like when you're writing new material, you're always kind of thinking like you're improving upon yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yet at the same moment, you're not like your earlier stuff. There's nothing wrong with saying your earlier stuff is great either. So it's a very tricky question, if you think about it.
Well, it is. And let's just circle that into California Dreams. Look, here's the truth. When I was in California Dreams, I did not want to be making slick pop music. I didn't. I wanted it to be indie and cool. And, I was starting to get into like Nirvana and things like that. You know what I mean? And so I wanted California Dreams to sort of be in that vein, but that wasn't the gig. And I had nothing to do with that. It wasn't my job. So, now looking back, I'm so grateful that I had that pop experience. And I'm playing these songs now over for the first time, going through the whole catalog of these California Dream songs. They're lovely. And some of them are really amazing, more than I thought, because, I had this stigmatism of like, well, that was just slick pop music that wasn't mine. It was someone else's songs I was singing, But now I'm really grateful for all of that, because a beautiful song is a beautiful song, and it just depends on what mood you're in. That's why we listen to different songs and different styles of music, because it just depends on kind of what mood you're in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it too, when I think about some of my favorite songs, because I'm a real 90s lover, okay?
Yeah, nice.
Back then, you had to buy the albums, the CDs.
Yeah.
You listen to it on the radio. You can't spend your money on everything. You can't buy every single song that you like. So
That's
you
right.
may not, you had your specific people that you would listen to. But then now looking back, when you hear all the music from that era, I'm like, even though I didn't listen to this person, I do like their stuff. I like their stuff. It's just, you have to be choosy a little bit,
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is there any chance that during the reunion we may get a Brentley Gore solo song in there?
Yeah, there is, and I'm really, yes, there is a chance. I have to battle with the other people. They're like, that's not California Dream, but I'll do some.
You're gonna have to say, when you come out with your own solo record,
that's right.
I'm gonna give you your 4 minutes of playtime.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
So now, too, you also did some other stuff within the industry. Like, I heard you started a nonprofit. You were helping some directors with things. You were even teaching at one point. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for asking about that. I started a nonprofit called Los Angeles Performing Arts Foundation, because when during the Schwarzenegger years, a lot of the funding, not during his, I don't think it was during his time, but that's when I started it. There was a lot of funding that got lost with kids being able to have performing arts in school. And I mean, that was a life changer for me. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be here. So we started a nonprofit, Los Angeles Performing Arts Foundation, and that foundation funded some schools and select individuals to help bring music and performing arts back into school. Now that foundation kind of morphed into other things. My friend Matt Sorum he was a drummer in Guns N' Roses. He has a really great performing arts foundation that kind of piggybacked and did the same thing. So some of these foundations that were started during the same time really took off because there was a little more funding behind that. So we kind of allowed ours to go into other foundations. At the time, we helped the people and the individuals that we could, but the foundation didn't have any legs. And when I moved back into Nashville, they needed me to be in LA to continue that. So that's why I'm kind of giving a shout out to Matt Sorum's foundation, because we kind of pushed everyone over onto that foundation. So that was that. And then the directors, I worked with a lot of art directors, and this was kind of side gigs that I had that I really enjoyed. I had lived with Sidney Jackson Bartholomew. We lived in this house, and he was kind of ran the house. And so a lot of art department stuff kind of came into play with me being able to take some jobs doing that. And I did. It was great. You show up, you do the art department gig, make $600 for the day. I'm like, yeah, why not? Great. And I learned a lot behind the scenes. I wanted to expand and see what other parts of things are. And I was playing music too at the same time. And so, yeah, I did a lot of that too.
Yep, and then with the teaching.
Oh, and teaching, they asked me to come back to my old school. So American Musical and Dramatic Academy opened up in Los Angeles. It's still there, still thriving. And they asked me to teach a pop songwriting performance class. Michael Sarter, who ran the musical theater department, asked me to do that. And it was right when I was moving back to Nashville. So I did a couple of semesters right before I moved back to Nashville. Man, I wish it was in Nashville. Those kids were amazing. They were learning how to write songs. They were learning how to perform their songs. I got to talk to them about business and all of that. And that was an extremely rewarding job that I had. Teaching the young, they'd all graduated. Some of them had already graduated college and were going to this conservatory. And some were right out of high school going to this conservatory. So yeah, that was a great experience too.
What are you currently working on down while you're in Nashville? Which I do want to add for regular viewers of the show. There's so many people that are coming on from Tennessee. Tennessee's the hot spot. I want to throw that out there for everyone's going to Nashville and Tennessee. What are you involved in down there right now?
I'm playing a lot of music. I'm writing a lot of music. I have a lot of local musicians. Most of them are transplants, that are wanting to start and cultivate young artists. So I'm getting a little bit back into that, to helping people break into show business as singers and songwriters. And they're even we're talking about starting a new record label and getting some of these young artists on board to actually, even though we're still trying to figure out how to get everyone paid, you got to play live shows to get paid, because your 5 cents from Spotify is not going to cut it. 5 cents is a lot. But we're developing and helping people, because it still needs to be heard. The music needs to be heard, and the young voices that we have that are coming up deserve a chance to have great recordings like I had. Some of my old mentors in LA, I got to do a remake of the Paul McCartney record, Ram. And I sang Backseat of My Car with the original drummer of Ram and all these guys, and Fernando, who produced it. You can look it up. These are playing with like idols, like people who played with Beatles, people who were in, he was in the original drummer in Wings, and then Paul had made his first record, Ram, after the Beatles. And I got to be part of that. People should have that opportunity should continue for young people. So I really have as I get older, I'm always going to be making my music. I'm always going to be putting out my own indie music. And, part of springboarding off of that is also to have people who want to submit music to me. And we're going to start looking at record deals to help people.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And now, what would you like to say to all the fans who are watching today, and especially maybe somebody who really wants to be able to attend but is not able to attend this reunion? Do you know if there's going to be any plans to maybe put a little bit of that footage out there for people to see that concert?
I'm almost sure of it, because I don't believe, don't quote me on this, but I don't believe that we're going to ban phones at the show. So a lot of those people that already have tickets that will be filming the show, those snippets will go out. And I know that we're going to have some filming going on. I don't think we're going to live stream it. But, the plan is to do more shows. And I've said this before, there's a whole world. This California Dreams is syndicated in 48 countries. 48 countries. It's not a United States thing. And a lot of people, reach out to me constantly from Europe, for example. And they're like, please come and do a show here. So if we begin to do that, which I'm hoping we can, I know people have families. We're all about it. And we're gathering funding, who's going to support it, who's going to promote it. And we'll be able to extend this to other states within the United States and potentially other countries to do some European tours and stuff like that. So that's the plan. We'll see. It requires money to do that. But now that I'm when I go for something, I'm head first. I'm just a perfectionist. I want it to be perfect, and let's just do it. So we're hoping this springboards into other things. And for those of you who can't make the New York City show, I promise you'll get snippets, and potentially we'll be coming to a town near you.
and maybe, there'll be maybe some merchandise. Maybe you have a shirt, a t-shirt. Is there any t-shirts you want to show us today?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've started to make some t-shirts. So we're going to have a lot of the California dreams, like the beautiful one you're wearing, for sale. And then I've started to I did this. So look, Garrison Gore, Surf Dudes with Attitude. It's a hoodie tee. And I was like, if I wouldn't wear it, I wouldn't want to sell it. So I have that. And then this right here, you guys, no one's seen this, but I'm putting the stores together. I just haven't released it yet. And it has live. Can you see that? Hold on. Here we go. Live in New York City. Dadgummit. Sorry, guys. Live in New York City, the Dreams reunion. And it has a little surfer girl. It's the little Tiffany logo.
Yeah, it's Kelly Packard. It's Tiffany with the
Kelly's
surfboard
on the bottom there. So, stuff like this, there's other things, you can see. I'll send out a link eventually here soon, very soon. And you can pre-order those, before the show. And you can also, I'll have some at the show, but I have a feeling like if how many ever I print, those could go pretty fast. So I'm hoping that people will get them and bring them to the show. That's my goal. So yeah, plenty of autographs, plenty of pictures, plenty of CDs, and some DVDs we're gonna have available, and all of that good stuff for fans of the show and people who want to kind of take part of it home with them. We're happy to help.
Yes, it's going to be an awesome time. Once again, I want to remind everybody, it's going to be Friday, October 13th, and it's going to be in New York City. You can get the tickets at prekindle.com. But right now, it is time for the lightning round.
Oh.
I am going to ask you two things, and you tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Pinball machine or whack-a-mole?
Pinball.
Yes, pinball machine. What is scarier, a cemetery at night or a haunted house?
Haunted house.
Would you rather have a headache or a stomach ache? Not like you want either, but if you had to choose.
Stomach ache.
French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Bigger attitude, Surf Dudes or Brentley Gore when he's really hungry for hours?
The latter.
Would you rather be wearing a watch or using the clock on your phone? Sharpies or Mr. Sketch markers?
Sharpies.
Would you rather go back in time or be able to go into the future?
Future.
Even though you're not a pop person, would it be Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
I have to go with the original. No, because Justin. NSYNC. No, yeah, NSYNC, right?
NSYNC would be Justin, yep. What's worse, driving in the rain or driving in the snow?
Snow.
And would you rather have 50 $20 bills or 20 $100 bills?
2100.
Correct, because that's more money. Because if you failed that question and the education system in this country made him fail, that would not be good. But 20 $100 bills is 2,000. The other was 1,000. It was a trick question.
Thank you.
But Brentley passed it.
Thank you. I love these questions, by the way.
Thank you. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Can you tell everybody how they can keep up with you on social media and find out what's going on with you?
Everything's at my name, Brentley Gore. I know you guys know me as Brent Gore, but my real name is Brentley. And so you can find me on all of my Facebook pages, my everything, everywhere. Instagram, TikTok. I'm starting to do a lot more TikTok. And hey, one thing I wanted to say, Mike, and I want to promote this. You guys go on TikTok and do the duet that I did with California Dreams. A few people have done it. It's amazing, but I want to hear some of those real singers come in and do that, because we need to get that going and get you guys. I want to hear more people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I've seen that. That looks really awesome.
Did you like that?
I liked it. That's cool.
I was a little like, just do it.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, thank you. Do that. And then, I hope for you guys that are kind of on the fence about the New York City event, it's a one-time thing. It may never happen again. That's the thing. So if you're kind of on the fence, just come on. We'll love on you. You can be part of the deal, and we're happy to have you. I promise it will not let you down. We won't let you down.
Yep. And be sure to follow me on social media as well, on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm at official Mike Rand. On X, it is Mike Rand.com, just like the website MikeRand.com. And of course on YouTube, the Mike Rand and at official Mike Rand. Thank you so much again for joining us here today.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for watching. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.